Stick to the story. Stick to the story. A movie is 90 minutes long. 6 short reels in time.
Good evening. Today, let's talk about black and white stock. Throughout much of film history, shooting on color was the most expensive and technically difficult process. However, there came a switch when eventually color film became the prevalent standard worldwide, while black and white was subjugated to more artistic endeavors. Fast forward to the 90s, when there was a mini boom in independent cinema that brought forward great films from both low budgets and high budgets, such as Clerks or Pi, all the way up to films such as Ed Wood or Schindler's List. These films were shot, edited, and completed in black and white. But what of the films in the middle range? Films which didn't have the budget to actually go straight to that expensive 35mm black and white stock and wanted the creative freedom to reverse their decisions. Today, let's talk about one of those, with the OCN for The Woman Chaser. Recently discovered, this film, despite being shot, edited, and finished with the knowledge that it would be completed in black and white, is on color film stock. Why was this done? How common was this? More questions. So follow me, won't you? And let's explore The Woman Chaser to prove that not everything is black and white. Here we have on the bench our color OCN for The Woman Chaser. As you can see, we actually have the original splice there connecting the section which has the opening titles and an image section. We see our first image, or one of our first images, and then we see the rolling onto the screen, The Art of Insanity. It's interesting to us that this was titled The Art of Insanity because of the fact that the original book was not titled The Art of Insanity. It was titled The Woman Chaser. So if you see later versions of the actual film elements which were photochemically printed or copied from this element, you'll see that they no longer have The Art of Insanity main titles. So here is the title spliced to the opening scene, and you have Patrick Warburton playing the film noir character.
If a man's sex drive evaporates, what good is he? I tried not to think about it.
What is interesting about this film is if you watch it in color, you can tell that there's not that much creative work put into assigning specific colors. It's very obvious to tell that that is because of the fact that they ended up wanting to convert it to black and white. With many films of this era, it's incredibly important to note that there was a certain point where black and white film stock became incredibly cost prohibitive. Not just for the reasons of the lack of availability, but mainly for the reasons that it was easier to sell color film to distributors. Color films are more vibrant, and they gave off less of an indie flick type vibe. This was a film which was meant to emulate the black and white cinematography of the 1940s and 50s with the film noir era. Theoretically speaking, this was exhibited on some video formats in color. That is because it was either taken a direct telecine from this original cut, original camera negative, or from the color interpositive. There is also a fine grain master made directly from this OCN, and that was the version of the film originally showed at New York Film Festival, where one scene had to be removed that features the main character punching his pregnant girlfriend, which for some reason was removed following public outcry. It's in the book, but it's not in the OCN. You could get a black and white positive element from this actual original camera negative in two main ways. Let's show those two main ways. During the process of making Woman Chaser shooting on color film, it was made to be converted to black and white. So here is one of the workflows that they actually tested out at PhotoChem. This is a fairly standard methodology. So basically you'd go to OCN, you'd make a fine grain master, they'd basically mask out the orange, and then they'd go to a dupe neg. And from that dupe neg, you see automatically appears to the right side, you see where the soundtrack would be, and then you could make a print. And then after that, they would test out what the print looked like. This was a failed version. They did not like how this ended up looking, and they went a different route. Here in the trailers, if you line them up next to each other, you can see the actual method at which they converted this color OCN to all of the prints which became readily available after the film's release. This OCN is in color, and you can see that it actually has this splice. Then you get interpositive. This interpositive, they opted, instead of converting directly from OCN and basically removing the saturation of the colors, all the hues, they kept the color sections and did the final tweaks between the interpositive and the internegative phases. So here, color, and then here you have beautiful black and white. So this is a black and white image on color negative stock. And then from there, they would print out to a positive print image. And this is how every single print was made. Let's look at the only surviving complete element of the cut containing that missing scene that was shown at New York Film Festival. In fact, it actually is a fine grain master. You can tell by comparing it against a print. You can see a slightly off coloring. That is an indicator, as well as the magenta color of the soundtrack. And in addition to that, the perforations, that this is a black and white fine grain, whereas this is a print on color stock. Since it caused so much controversy, this scene, they essentially removed it altogether from the release, even though it was an important part of the book. So the only surviving element for this is this film element, and thanks to the digital new age that we live in, you're gonna get it on Blu-ray, which is really, really special and nice. This film was also shown in some foreign markets in a color version. So we're also including the color version so you can see as well what it looks like when a film was shot in color and meant to be shown in black and white.
The script is good, isn't it?
I'm not worried.
In the end, the sheer amount of elements that we dug up for this release would cause anyone to go crazy. Delving into this late phase of black and white cinematography really helps to hit home that film preservation is truly just the art of insanity. Thank you very much. Enjoy The Woman Chaser.